I had no idea how bad it was going to be.
An American city suddenly thrust into a political firestorm.
The small city of Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio. Maybe you remember it.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Is this the cat right
Yeah.
here? Oh my goodness, what's her name?
Her name's Miss Sassy.
Miss Sassy. For a few weeks in September, this small Midwestern city was the center of the political universe.
15,000 Haitians.
Many of them fleeing poverty and violence.
J.D. Vance claims Haitian migrants are, quote, draining social services and causing chaos.
These days, it's much quieter. But Springfield is still deeply divided. Donald Trump won the city of 60,000 people by less than 150 votes. And with Trump in the White House, the future of Springfield is anything but certain.
We're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country, and we're going to start with Springfield.
So I wanted to come back here after the camera crews had gone to get to the bottom of what really happened. Why did Springfield, Ohio, become the center of so much pain, frustration, and controversy? And who, if anyone, is really to blame?
They didn't come from this country. They didn't work here. I worked for what I get.
It hurts when you're hearing about yourself, your people being degraded for things that is out of your control.
The good thing is, now we have the nation's attention. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to concentrate on the real issues that we have here?
I challenge you to stand out there for 1 hour and to seriously put it through your head that you might have to seek shelter somewhere and sleep out in that.
Ladies first, line up over here. We'll come through, sign the book, and dig in.
Baron Seelig has worked in construction for most of his life. Now, he's known as the street pastor. When I met him, he was running on about 3 hours of sleep after spending the last month setting up a warming center for Springfield's homeless.
Swing the camera, that's that's it. I've been sleeping in that recliner since December 2nd.
I found Baron because he went viral back in September. When everyone was talking about cats and dogs, Baron was focused on something else.
There is not any relief for the homeless. The homeless people in this community are not the people you think they are.
I served 2 tours in the Gulf. I received a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, the same action. It don't mean nothing. Back then, I thought I did it for God and country. I did it for the man and woman standing next to me, because if we did our jobs, we all went home. Now that I sit back and I look at it, I went over there to fight a rich man's war for something that was wrong. And then when we come back, they don't provide the help. See, it's good people like him that's looked past, our past and our addictions and the things that we've done, and provides this.
Yeah.
He's provided me with hope.
Right. In the last few years, Springfield saw its rents rise at one of the fastest rates of any city in the country. The city's services, hospitals and schools, have been stretched thin. And many in Springfield have been quick to blame their new Haitian neighbors. But it turns out, the problems in Springfield run a lot deeper. What was Springfield like before the Haitians came along? Was it all hunky-dory? Tell me about it.
This is where you nail me, because I'm not going to lie. And all these people who want you to believe this was just utopia before that are liars, and that's bullshit. This town's not what it was when I was growing up. Mom, pop, baseball, apple pie, and Chevrolets, It's not here anymore.
There was a time when Springfield was thriving.
My grandfather came from a little town called Castleberry, Alabama. Back in the early 40s, he heard that jobs were plentiful in Springfield, Ohio.
Jason Barlow used to work for a company called International Harvester, just like his dad and his granddad before him.
When we were hired in here, we thought we hit the gold mine. Full benefits, free health care, we had a pension, and it was terrific.
At its peak, International Harvester employed 10,000 people in the city.
The coolest job you could have, International Harvester. If you worked there, you had made it. Life was like the Truman Show. And it really was like that here.
In 1983, Springfield was featured on the cover of Newsweek as the poster child of the American dream.
Springfield is more than a city.
It's a way of life.
And that dream was made possible by organized labor.
We had a very strong manufacturing base, and there was a lot of union density.
Hannah Halbert is the executive director of Policy Matters Ohio.
Ohio used to enjoy a higher median income than the U.S. average. The typical worker in Ohio would get a better deal for their labor here than other parts of America. Workers could come here, join together, and actually bargain for fair terms for their labor.
It was a big union town. It really was.
The people of Springfield believe in Springfield. They believe that what is to come will be even better.
When you see your friends losing homes and families falling apart, I mean, it's horrible.
After decades of growth, Springfield's fortunes began to turn. Corporations and their allies in government engineered trade deals that made it cheaper to move jobs abroad where they could pay workers less.
In 2002, they shut this facility down, and they moved everybody out. So you went from 2,000 people to about 250 in that little automated facility.
As the jobs left Springfield, so did the people. Springfield's population fell from more than 80,000 in the 70s to fewer than 60,000 by 2016. At the same time, Ohio's state government started cutting funding for essential services like schools and healthcare.
Ohio and the U.S. has plenty of resources that could have devoted to making these communities closer to whole, helping them navigate these kinds of transitions. Policymakers just failed to do that sort of investment.
Instead, they pursued tax cuts for the rich.
In 2005, Ohio embarked on a series of tax cuts. The state began cutting income tax mostly for the wealthiest of Ohioans. The tax changes from 2005 alone are taking over $12 billion out of Ohio's state revenues per year. It's a huge loss, and that is the loss that's hurting regular Ohio working families.
In Springfield, the impacts of these policies were especially stark. No other American city saw more of its middle class fall into poverty between 2000 and 2014. This might be a dumb question, but everything has a reason. Why did we have to do this?
Well, why did we have to do it? Unfortunately, corporate America wanted to do it.
Springfield, like so many American cities, had been left behind. But a new plan was in the works, a plan to bring Springfield back.
I never thought of Springfield as an immigrant place. But then I started noticing Latino people at Walmart. Every dairy farm, all of the workers were Mexicans or Guatemalans. There wasn't a Ohio-born person in there.
Carl Ruby is a senior pastor at Central Christian Church. 10 years ago, he founded a nonprofit organization called Welcome Springfield.
I spoke at different civic groups, and I would just tell the story of Springfield's history. I mean, we are a city with a rich immigrant history.
Springfield, Ohio, is no stranger to migration. Poor whites from Appalachia, African Americans from the South, and immigrants from abroad all fueled much of Springfield's early growth.
My parents, they were all hillbillies, man. They all made that Appalachian move toward Detroit, and we made it as far as Ohio.
Welcome Springfield was meant to be the next chapter in that story, a solution to Springfield's ongoing decline. So in late 2014, Springfield City Council adopted a resolution declaring an emergency and declaring Springfield a city welcoming of immigrants. And at first, the strategy seemed to work. The promise of a growing workforce, along with generous subsidies from the state, attracted companies like Amazon, Dole, and Topri America, bringing an estimated 8,000 jobs to the region. But the new jobs weren't like the unionized jobs that had once fueled Springfield's growth.
This building, which is a Japanese corporation, completely different line of work. They do auto parts. It's non-union.
I worked at Topri. Yeah, I did. We got widgets to make, and I get that.
Yeah.
But at what cost? That's why I left Topre. On day 98, I walked into the office and said, I've worked 98 days in a row, 12-hour days.
The starting salary at Topre America is around $18 an hour. That's roughly what Jason was making when he first started working, almost 30 years ago.
Now, granted, they brought jobs to the community, but from what I'm told is 12-hour days and a lot of turnover and workers, Haitian workforce now.
People don't understand. The Haitian they came to look for something. They came to better their lives. Their dream is to come to America and live that American dream.
Haitian immigrants started showing up in Springfield around 2017. One of the first groups to help them get on their feet was St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent provides food, clothes, and helps people get set up with work permits.
One of my friends just brought me to Topre America. It's a steel plant. So it's really hard on there, but I like it because it's really close where I'm living.
Patrick Joseph makes $18 an hour at Topre, and on average, he works 8-hour days, 5 days a week. But for many of his Haitian friends, it's a different story.
Mois de juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre. Mois de juin arrivé octobre, on fait 4 mois. Moi-même, on fait 4 mois. Sans sauter jour. Tout haïtien, dans quel que soit côté haïtien arrivé, nous allons nous rentrer côté à nous venir travailler. Il suffit que nous viennent travailler, nous sautons travail, nous finissons manger un bagage, nous baignons, nous rentrons, nous dormons, et puis ok, demain c'est tourner dans le travail encore.
Gilner Jolibois works at Aresti, a company that builds engine parts. He arrived in Springfield after a long and dangerous journey through the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and the jungles of Mexico.
Our people, they are really strong. We just come in for work to have a better life, to have a better situation.
So many neighbors like to work 8 hours, 40 hours a week, and then they're fine. Haitians are not like that. They would work 12 hours, and the job market loved it. The owners, they like it.
With the growing population came new restaurants, radio stations, and church services in Creole. And as the number of jobs increased, wages started going up too.
The population of Springfield was dying down. Once Haitian arrived, the market went up. All the local businesses was excelling.
We were moving in a really good direction. We had gone from one of the fastest shrinking cities in the country to one of the fastest growing.
But that population growth accelerated rapidly in 2021. Haiti's president had been assassinated, and gangs were taking over Haiti's capital, forcing hundreds of thousands of Haitians to flee.
I'm really scared for my family because when you wake up, find like 4, 5, 10 dead people in the street, it's not really good. It's human body.
It's important to mention here that Haiti is where it is today, in part because of the United States. A century of U.S. intervention, including violent occupations and the backing of authoritarian leaders, has failed to produce any more security for the Haitian people.
United States is a place people try to come in like an immigrant. There's a reason. There's a reason for that they are coming.
Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, is a way for people fleeing violence to work legally in the U.S., and Haiti has been covered by this program since the earthquake in 2010. Today, between 15,000 and 20,000 Haitians live in Springfield. But the city, already starved for funding, wasn't ready for that kind of growth.
15 to 20,000 new residents in town, it was a strain on our schools, health clinics.
Fire departments and the Springfield police, they have all had huge challenges.
With a typical patient, a doctor's visit is 15 minutes. With a non-English speaking patient, it's like 45 minutes to an hour. We needed federal help with that.
On July 8th, 2024, the Springfield city manager sent a letter to the Senate Banking Committee requesting emergency funding for Springfield. This brought the issue to the attention of Senator J.D. Vance, who was a member of the committee.
Chairman Brown, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to submit a letter for the record from the city of Springfield.
So we were looking for some help, and instead of getting help, he talked about how horrible things were here in Springfield. I knew that there was Springfield, and then I think it was a day or so later he started talking about the Haitians eating our dogs and cats.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Caitlin. What they're calling and saying is we're seeing migrants kidnap our dogs and cats.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
If attention is what Trump and Vance were going for, attention is what they got.
Springfield, Ohio, found itself at the center of a fraught election year issue.
Every other Tuesday, there's a meeting. Haitians always on the topic.
We become second class to a bunch of people that don't even belong here.
All those great things that Haitians contributed into Springfield, it's like they didn't even exist.
My people, they are chasing the American dream as well. But today they don't need to be paying the price of something they didn't create.
And what started as a rumor escalated into something else.
Schools in Springfield, Ohio were closed for a second day because of bomb threats.
Springfield hospitals briefly placed on lockdown after receiving bomb threats.
It's sickening to see what's happened. I mean, I lived here all my life, and I had never seen a hate group marching down the streets.
We don't need hate groups in Springfield. We have enough problems as a city as it is. But I want to know why it took you all so long to ask the federal and the state government for help. With the stress that's on our police, our fire, our EMTs, our school system, our housing.
Springfield, Ohio is a tinderbox right now. It still kind of is.
Yeah.
And all these people throwing matches, man.
Why do you think so many folks are drawn to these kind of rumors? Why do they get such traction, do you think?
I think rumors like that get traction among people who are struggling, and they're looking for someone to blame for their struggle, and it's easy to pick immigrants.
Is this the cat right
Yeah.
here? Oh my goodness, what's her name?
Her name's Miss Sassy.
Miss Sassy. And this is Miss Sassy right here.
Yep.
Incredible. Anna and Ron Kilgore are both retired, living off of Social Security and disability payments. In September, their cat went missing.
She must have got out the back door, so she's gone probably for a week. My daughter was over there digging their trash and found some stuff that looks like skin. And I called the police, and that's how it ended up getting in a police report. And that's how J.D. Vance's office got a hold of it.
Hello, ma'am. This is Brian in the office of Senator J.D. Vance.
His office wanted to know about the cat story, and I tried calling back and never got no answer.
Really?
Yeah, so I left a voicemail, and they never did call me back.
And then the cat showed up again.
Yeah, we found her in the basement.
That's where you found the cat.
Yeah, she was down there back in the back.
You're a supporter of President Trump and Vance.
My whole family is.
Whole family is. Tell us a couple of reasons why you support Donald Trump. What about
me and the border wall?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And why is that so important to you personally?
Because I'm on Social Security and can't afford to pay for stuff now. I can barely go to the grocery store and put food in my refrigerator. We was in the homeless shelter for a while. And
both you and Ron? Yeah,
me and Ron, my youngest daughter, and my older son.
Have you seen your rent change in the last few years? How's it changed?
When we first moved in, it was only $500, then it went up to $600, now it's $700.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they know they can rent it to a Haitian and get more money out of them.
When Patrick first moved to Springfield, he was forced to live in a 3-bedroom house with 15 other people.
Imagine you're living with 15 people. This is where I live. This is where, the gentleman live with me. This is where another one. So it was not a good living condition.
This happened because Patrick had to wait for his work permit for over a year. The only way that he could pay rent during that time was to split the bill with 15 other people, each paying about $200 per month. That's a great deal for any landlord who's willing to look the other way.
Not only were there landlords taking advantage of people, but it also drove rent up for other people who struggle.
A lot of these corporations and outside landlords have come in and started to take advantage.
Once Patrick got his work permit and a job, he could afford an apartment on his own.
Looking like a king.
Oh, yeah. King in his castle.
Yes.
What should be done of the people who are exploiting, an immigrant population?
That if you are found guilty by a jury of your peers here that the punishment should be very, very, very severe if you exploit someone, whether they be refugee or native here.
Do the landlords who are making a ton of money off of the Haitians and kind of kicking you around, how much responsibility do they have in this?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Would you personally put some blame on them for taking
Yes, I would.
advantage of this?
Yeah.
If there was plenty of housing and it was affordable for you and you weren't concerned about Haitians coming in and being able to outspend you, would you feel different about Haitians being in the community, or what do you think?
I mean, yeah, if they weren't being handed money for free, they get these, they call them the Haitians call them magic cards.
This was one of the most common things we heard about Haitians, that they get free money from the government in the form of so-called magic cards.
Right now, they're in the land of milk and honey, baby. They've never lived like this in their life. We have a magic food card. You just take this in and you pick out what you want to eat and you slide this card and you leave with groceries.
You're sending all these immigrants into this country and they're getting thousands of dollars a month because I'm sitting up at Speedway, asking for $1 or some change to get a cup of coffee because I'm shivering from being cold.
There's some people in Springfield we've talked to who said that Haitian immigrants are getting $1,700 vouchers from the government. Is that true? Have you ever heard that?
I'm not sure. You're not going to find any Haitian have $1,700 just to pay.
We looked into it and couldn't find any evidence of magic cards either. It is true that Haitians are able to access many of the same programs as other Springfield residents, programs like food stamps and Medicaid. But here's the thing. An analysis by the Dayton Daily News found that Haitian residents don't rely on public assistance any more than non-Haitian residents. And they're paying back into the system too. You're paying taxes at Topre America, right?
Yes, I do. We have federal income taxes, social security taxes, Medicare tax, Ohio state income tax, also Springfield income taxes, $49 and $31.
So your taxes are paying for people who are currently drawing Social Security.
That's correct.
And you're not drawing Social Security.
No.
Do you get any vouchers for housing from the government?
No.
Not even a dime?
Not even a dime.
He was getting none of that?
None of that, but he was paying into the system.
The exception to the rule.
But what if he isn't? What if
he isn't the exception to the rule?
Yeah.
We're being lied to unbelievably.
I'll tell you what, I'm not living high on the hog. I'm living from day to day, surviving. There's a difference.
Do you think the Haitians are living high on the hog?
Yes.
What if they're not? What if they're just like you?
Then I'm wrong. And I'll admit it.
Yeah.
If you're coming here and your struggle is real and you're here for the right reason, you're more than welcome. I'll welcome you as my brother and sister.
These days, Springfield, Ohio is as divided as ever. Trump won the city by a razor-thin margin, and we know what he plans to do if he decides to follow through with it.
He always say that in his speech. The first thing we're going to do going to Springfield to do a mass deportation.
We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela.
In his first week in office, Trump signed a number of executive orders targeting migrants and refugees. And he even name-dropped Springfield in one of them. Patrick is still here legally, protected by TPS. But that designation is set to expire for Haitians in 2026, meaning his deportation could happen as early as next year.
My family right now, they are in Haiti. I'm working for them. Anything I have, I just send it for them just to feed them in Haiti.
If every single Haitian in Springfield was deported, the city would lose something like a quarter of its population. The last time it had a population that size, Springfield was at one of its lowest points.
We had our problems. I mean, fentanyl and heroin. The Haitians have just added an element to it that nobody figured on.
The arrival of 15,000 Haitian immigrants in Springfield has presented real challenges. Challenges the city is still working to overcome. But the Haitian people brought new life to the city too. And no, they're not eating cats. or dogs.
Big Bud.
So it's worth asking, who profits from pitting people against each other, forcing us to fight over food stamps, low-paid jobs, and unaffordable housing? Who, if anyone, is really to blame?
The only reason we are stuck in this us versus them scarcity battle is because the state of Ohio has made decisions to prioritize the wealthiest earners and some of the richest corporations on the planet.
Shame on them. Topre, Dole. You want me to start naming them?
Should they be forced to give back to the community in some way for kind of benefiting from this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any billionaire could bequeath a check to me to keep doing what I do and not even break a stride. Give me $1 billion and watch what I do.
I would say that the city official has to embrace and encourage financially the community centers who are helping out the Haitian community.
We have our family in Springfield. We have a lot of good people here. We've just come in for only one reason: work to get a better life.
You have to have some quality of life, and you can't just be working at a facility 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
While I don't 100% agree with the union, I think the union will protect some of the people, the very people that you're extorting. It's the same fight as it was in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. That's the heart of the union, right? I'm for that part of the union. You can't look at a Haitian guy and go, you came from a third world country, man. You should be grateful that we're allowing you to eat at our Applebee's. Guy works, at Topre. Trust me, I work there. You're working there. You know what I mean? And you're earning your money and you're paying your taxes.
I'm hoping that in 2025, both of them will take time to learn from others, the Haitians, also the residents of Springfield, because we are living here. We're just going to have to find ways to get along and just make Springfield great again or something like that. Yeah.